The MYER Audio CKLVX D62. Let's talk about it. Now, as the name would entrail, this is a 2-dynamic driver, 6BA hybrid driver IEM that costs around $240, depending on where you buy it and discounts. And it was brought to us by Hifigo. This is a sample. Let me be clear about that. And let's start this review by talking about the build quality of this IEM. Okay, the shell of this IEM, it's pretty nice. It looks good. It is a little bit on the large side. It's a little bit thick and chunky, but it's not heavy or uncomfortable. It doesn't really have a wing, but it has a nice metallic nozzle, and I think it has a good fit for me and no major faults. Again, nice fit, no issues, beautiful little shell. I like the faceplate. It is a flat 2-pin cable connector, which is also nice, and you can see the nice faceplate we have right here. There we go. I dig this case. It's very similar to the MYER Audio 41 IEM that I reviewed on channel about, 10 months ago. It's a nice case. It feels good in hand. It's kind of pleathery, nice zipper, not super fancy, but pocketable and protects your IEMs, and it's got it where it counts. I dig it. Now, the cable is swappable. They do include both a 3.5 and a 4.4 for this. It is a nice cable, kind of a gray cable. Here we have our 4.4, and it is a plush cable with the little, Velcro tie on this. It looks and feels nice in hand. It's a quality cable with a nice Y-split. You can see here a nice chin slider that stays in place when you play with it. It's a good looking, handsome cable with no major faults. That's swappable at this price point. That I still think that's a positive thing. We have right here and left indicators. It is a recessed 2-pin cable connector IEM, so it's nice. There's 7 sets of tips with this. You can see here they're all fair. I have no problems with them. Good selection. Oh yeah, also the graphs on the box of this thing. I love it when the graphs on the box. It's the best. Now, how does this IEM sound? It sounds airy. It might sound shouty to some, but I think it has good details and space. And I like what it does to my music. I think this is a fun IEM and a good tuned IEM. But I want to get into what this is in more detail with some comparisons. I like this IEM a great deal. I think its strong points are its upper mids and its clarity of vocals. It has nice bass, but not super meaty and impactful. But it just has a nice overall pleasant mid-focus tune. And let's get into some graph. Okay, let's look at this graph and kind of how it looks and how it sounds and talk about it. There's a few minor quirks about it, a little bit lacking in sub bass in my opinion, kind of this weird dip here. It does have a little bit of energy kind of around this 2.5 peak and a little bit of like this 4.5 energy here, a little bit of high 8K, but it has nice kind of flat even treble beyond that. Let's compare this to some other IEMs. First one I want to compare this to is the MYER Audio CKLVX. You'll notice the MYER Audio CKLVX 41 is a lot flatter. It's a lot closer to my target than the 62 is. So the 62 is a lot like the 41, but a little bit more coloration in this region right here and this region right here, which I think adds a great sense of soundstage and space to the IEM. It gives it a nice vocal presence, but for those people that are sensitive to that, that could come across shouty. For me, it's not shouty. I kind of like a lot of energy there. It's fun, but it can come across too much for many people, and that is something to note if you are sensitive to those areas. One thing I wanted to compare this to is the AFU Performer 7. It's a new IEM. You'll notice the AFU Performer 7 is a lot flatter, a lot less 8K energy, a little bit more of this upper air detail, and a little bit less flat, a little bit more flat, and a little bit more sub bass. I think I kind of prefer the tune overall, the AFU Performer 7, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the MYER Audio CKLVX is a bad set. It's actually quite fantastic, and I like it. But I wanted to show that comparison because these are coming in right about at the same price. And I mean, you know, cable, you know, the cable and the case on this, the MYER Audio CKLVX, I do think is better. The AFU Performer case on this, on the P7, is a little bit lame. You know, it's the puck style case and it has only one terminal. And so, you know, it's pretty close, but I think there's some things to like about the MYER Audio CKLVX packaging wise. I think it's done very, very well. And I think it has a beautiful faceplate. So it also has a great sound. But I guess what I'm trying to say is they do trade blows and they're right about at that same level for me. But again, if I had to recommend one, just if you're looking for a neutral set, it would be the P7. But let's look at some other things. Now, the Estrella. I really dig the Estrella. I just listened to it the other day, and it's just fantastic. But there's some kind of harsh things about the Estrella. Like, the Estrella does have a ton of bass. I like this much bass, but for some people, this is going to come across as just too violent and too much. You'll notice these trends here, these trends of like to help with the air right through here and here with the Estrella. You'll notice a little bit more energy on the CKLVX, but you'll also notice a nice dip here at 5K, which can come across as sibilance for some people, and that's not a place that I like. So there, you know, the CKLVX does kind of have some good things going on with it, and it reminds me a little bit of the Estrella from like a vocal standpoint. And I think, you know, if you like the Estrella and the Estrella had too much bass for you, I think the CKLVX could be a really great winner with kind of a different tune that's a little bit spicier, but I think it's fun. Another one to look at is kind of the Dunu Mirai. I mean, these kind of trade blows with a lot of weens. And, you know, the Dunu Mirai is $1,100 set. You'll notice kind of that high, like 2K peak here on my graph, but a little bit more energy on the MYER Audio. I mean, other than that, you know, you see just a lot of things that are very similar. And I do think the MYER Audio is a very cohesive set with a beautiful graph. It is a little bit different, but there are some IEMs that I wanted to show you of what this kind of looks like. Another one to talk about is the Dunu Kima. And I mean, I really like the Dunu Kima, and the D62 has some good qualities to it. I think the Dunu Kima has really like kind of more beautiful vocals, but I think the CKLVX might be the better overall pick in my opinion. But it's tough. They're both really good sets, and I like them a lot. But they're both kind of mid-focused sets, I believe, with the Dunu Kima being even more mid-focused, and the MYER Audio just being a little bit more engaging and fun. But there's something about this kind of upper treble region. They kind of remind me of each other, and it's fun and it's engaging. Another one to think about is this is a lot like the Pilgrim. Now, some of the big critiques of the Pilgrim were this kind of upper treble region. A lot of people wish there was a little bit more and just a little bit less and lacking in many ways. And I think the 62D is a lot like that. And again, this is, for me, I like the CKLVX better. And I think it does some fantastic things, and that's kind of something to note. Another thing to note, like this is, if you're looking at a similar signature, at least sonic profile wise, something to think about might be the JD10. They both kind of have this upper air peak here, and they're both kind of fun sets in that regards. Like, so oftentimes we get the neutral sets that just kind of do the same thing, and we want something with just a little bit of spice and a little bit of punch, and that's just something to show you. Another one this reminds me of is the Zen's Up. Has similar tune to this, kind of open, kind of wide open and spacious, and something to think about. Now, the last one I wanted to show you is this is a lot like the Aroma Audio Fei 1. There's kind of a similar approach, kind of this upper mid style approach, and like just the graphs themselves remind me a lot of each other and kind of have that similar tonality. I mean, is it as good as the Fey one? It's not, but it does have some similar tonality things about it that I really like and I think are quite impressive for the price. So the MYER Audio CKLVX is a really nice set. It does a lot of things well. It kind of has a leaner bass, but it has a really nice wide open presentation. Like, I really like the mids and the highs on this set, and I think it images well, and it also has a really nice open soundstage. I like the sound and how it feels in ear. I think musicality wise, it's just a really good set. It's really nice. It's handsome and has a lot of great qualities, and it gets a full recommendation if you can deal with some of the minor issues that we talked about. You know, it's been a real honor and pleasure to be able to review and check out this IEM. It's a really beautiful set that is really handsome and is well packaged, and I really like the sound of it. So oftentimes I think so many people are going for a very set standpoint in their graphs, and sometimes it's nice to see something that feels a little bit more adventurous and a little bit more energetic. And this is kind of one of those sets. It kind of has that upper vocal range, sort of like the Diva, and just has this beautiful sense of air and detail about it. I like this set. It's a little bit in that spicy, non-neutral sense. It has lots of kind of energetic vocals, and it has a little bit of just kind of a standard bass level, but I think it's a great set, and I think people that buy it are really gonna like it. Is this exactly like the 41D? No, it's evolved. It's different. It has a different approach, and I think people are gonna like this set. I've really enjoyed my time with it. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching. You're still here. It's over. Go home. Go watch another IEM video. It's done. That's the entire video. What more do you want?